Uh, Good morning, everyone. Thank you for making time to join us on this webinar. So this webinar is, jointly co-hosted by Fibre2Fashion and Salesforce. I hope everyone is in a great mood after the India win yesterday. So, hope you have had a happy last evening. So today, I'm just going to start sharing my screen. So the topic which we have for today is, building customer centricity to unlock retail success in India, right? I'll just give a quick introduction about myself. My name is Siddharth Sikand. I'm the enterprise architecture lead for Salesforce for retail and consumer goods segment in India. Um, as part of the enterprise architecture practice, I work with some of our strategic customers in the retail and consumer goods segment, basically helping them shaping their technology strategy, defining their long-term vision and goals, and really driving those outcomes. Right. Overall, I have about 15 years of corporate experience in a variety of roles across sales, pre-sales, business consulting, solution, and enterprise architecture across the India, Australia, and the US markets. Um, so let's begin. I just wanted to start off with a quick reminder that Salesforce is a publicly traded company. We will be making some forward-looking statements about Salesforce. So please, if you please make any purchasing decisions about Salesforce basis capabilities and products and services which we have commercially available today. Uh, I also want to, take a minute to, to say thank you to our customers, to our partners, everyone who is on the webinar with us today. We really hope to make a valuable use of your time. The success of our customers, partners, and our future prospects, that's really a priority for us. And that's what we are committed to, going ahead. The agenda which we have for today is basically we'll be starting off with a quick introduction about who we at Salesforce are, a quick snapshot of how we see the retail sector in India, what are the key imperatives which we see for Indian retailers, which is emerging today, and essentially around those imperatives, how Salesforce as an enterprise CRM platform is really fueling innovation within the retail sector with data and AI. After that, we'll also have a fireside chat with our guest speaker, Mr. Rakesh Kumar, who's joined us from the Landmark Group. And post that, we will have a Q&A session, right? So if you have any question, please post it on the Q&A tab, which you will see on the Zoom call. And we'll be happy to take up some of those questions towards the end of this session. Okay. A quick snapshot about Salesforce. So at Salesforce, our vision has always been helping our customers to connect with their customers in a whole new way, right? And our purpose essentially is to drive customer success, help our customers grow their business, and really help generate faster time to value, right? And this approach of ours, it really evolves with every new innovation cycle, which we'll be kind of talking about. And essentially that vision has actually made us the number one CRM company in the world today, right? In fact, if you look at some of these metrics, we are actually larger than our next four competitors combined in terms of market share. And this has actually been the case for the at least the last decade or so, right? And this vision has not only made us the number one CRM company in the world, it's also made us the second largest enterprise software company in the world, right? In fact, we are really proud in terms of we are actually on the path to deliver $38 billion in terms of revenue. We're actually one of the fastest companies to essentially get there. And more than that, we're also proud of being a leader in innovation, in philanthropy, in ethics, right? And none of this would have happened, without our customers and our partners, right? So together we are really making some incredible impact across the world. I think our CEO MD Mark Benioff says that the purpose of business is not just to do business; it's eventually to create a better world out there, right? So I think we have always lived by those core values, and with innovation, with technology innovation driving the future. And when I mentioned about evolving with every new innovation cycle, right? So over the last 25 years, we at Salesforce, we've really guided our customers through major technology shifts, right? So, starting, if you look at 1999, that's when our company started. We were actually the first enterprise software company, on the cloud. So back then, when no one was talking on cloud, we are actually the people who, paved that road, which is there. In 2006, we actually became the first enterprise software company to operate on the mobile, right? 2010, we actually embraced social collaboration within business, within enterprise. First ones over there. And in fact, we actually launched our first AI product, which is called Einstein, which brought predictive capabilities to enterprise CRM back in 2016. And today, if you look at it, right, so we're really experiencing a generational shift in terms of data, right? In fact, what the number says that 2.5 quintillion bytes of data are going to be generated each day, right? So quintillion is about 18 zero after 2.5, right? So that's the amount of data what we're looking at. So that's why in 2021 we took the next leap and created our own data platform, which really helps us to really create that customer 360 on top of our platform. And with our strong enterprise foundation of cloud, mobile, social, AI, and data, we're actually at the forefront of leveraging generative AI and autonomous agents today to really create that future. And truly believe us that the future is here and it's actually going to be agents, right? In our at Dreamforce, last year we actually, MD Mark Benioff, he actually said, today's CEOs are the last generation who are actually going to have 100% physical or human labor workforce which is there, right? Autonomous agents will form part of you know human labor and digital labor actually coming together, and we are really at the forefront of delivering that for our customers, right? uh, and nothing speaks, louder than the success of most of our customers, right? So today, we work with retailers of all kinds, of all sizes, who are actually growing with Salesforce, every day, and we've really helped all of these customers today, driving down cost, increasing customer loyalty, and essentially, just wanted to display some of these logos. You'll actually find a lot of these also have published case studies. So you can actually go to our website and see how Salesforce has essentially delivered value to all of these customers. Then, so now what we are essentially going to give you is a quick snapshot of how do we see the retail sector in India, right? So the Indian retail market, if you look at, it was valued at about $1,200 billion in 2023. It's actually on a very strong trajectory to grow at a CAGR of about 10% and be about 1,900 billion by 2030, right? So essentially, India is on the path to becoming the second highest industry in APAC and the fourth largest retail market in the world, right? And it really plays a pivotal role uh, in the Indian economy because it contributes to about 10% of our GDP, right? And post COVID, I think the recovery and resilience has been great. We have actually already surpassed, pre-pandemic numbers in FY23. Although in the recent months we have actually seen a lot of some slowdown in footfalls and buying patterns, but we're quite hopeful with the recent announcements which were made in the FY25 union budget, the tax reforms which were essentially introduced, that would actually provide a significant boost to retail consumption, right? And essentially enhance support for MSMEs, infrastructure development. These would be key enablers for driving the retail sector growth in the future. Interestingly, from the channel perspective, and I think in another 2 weeks, you would also see the Connected Shoppers Insights report coming out, on our website. Indian shoppers are actually leading the world in terms of newer adopting these newer channels of engagements, right? In fact, only a quarter of transactions today are actually happening at the store, right? So the penetration of e-commerce, quick commerce, social commerce, messaging apps, live streaming, Indian shoppers are actually adopting them at a much higher rate than our global counterparts, right? So that's been really interesting to see. And I think some of these aspects which we'll be covering in our presentation today, that how retailers in India need to bank upon this opportunity, which is there in front of us to grab. Okay. So, what are the key imperatives for retailers which we, are essentially seeing today? Uh, so today, if you look at and what we found out as part of our research, an average customer is interacting with about 9 different touch points with each and every brand which is there, right? So, however, whenever that interaction happens across those 9 different touch points, they basically have very disjointed or disconnected experiences, right? Because typically an organization would manage these experiences in silos, right? So someone would be responsible for managing the store experience, another person is managing the digital experience, someone is managing the brand experience, right? So how do retailers, really, stay relevant today? Because the moment I, have disjointed experiences, it really creates a bad sentiment in the mind of the customer, right? So, and what really happens is that, once you have all of this data management and process management in silos, it slows down your ability to innovate and operate, right? So marketers should not be waiting for weeks for, data or IT team to give them segments so that they can start marketing. Similarly, my service team cannot really deliver that, true white glove experience if they don't know who their high value customers are, what they have been buying, what their preferences are. And essentially, when you're not able to unlock that data and insights, your loyalty and retention suffer, right? And that's the reality with a lot of our customers and prospects which we see today, right? So how do we really transform, these relationships and, unlock growth across the company? Uh, so today, what we say is that for any retailer to transform at an unprecedented rate, it's important that you modernize your data and AI architecture. You also modernize your operating model, right? How are you essentially operating across all of these modern channels of engagement, which we just mentioned in our retail snapshot, right? So it's important to really create that unified view of enterprise data, that unified customer 360, so that it's accessible to everyone within the organization, right? And every, department within the company now, whether it is commerce, marketing, service, stores, IT, everyone should be aligned on that unified customer experience and customer 360 which is there, right? And the retailers who will do this, they are the ones who are going to capture more digital revenue. They are the ones who are going to be optimizing their marketing spend and have more productive employees, right? And these are some of the numbers, which we have seen with our customers for the last couple of years, that people or retailers who have essentially focused on modernizing their operating models, their data and AI architecture, they are the ones who have essentially been successful, right? So when we say data, right? So how do we really leverage data to win new and profitable customers, right? So uh, essentially, when we spoke to a lot of our customers, right, we actually saw that a typical retail organization would use 44 different systems to deliver their true customer experience, right? And these data sources have just, doubled in the last few years, and the trend is actually going to grow, right? The number of channels through which consumers are going to engage, they're only going to increase, right? And if you couple that with the long-awaited death of the cookie, uh, consumers wanting more control over their data, the new DPDP law, which we are assuming will kick in this year, there is now essentially a race, which every retailer has got into, that how do we create our own customer data platforms, right? And that has never been more important. These data platform, which can really help us create a unified profile of a customer, so that I'm able to capture their behavior data, their transactional data, their engagement data. This data can be structured, unstructured, it could be anything, right? Uh, and what do I do once I have that data, right? How do I then leverage automation and AI to navigate through all of this data and create segments, micro segments for me, right? I should know, okay, what do people in, and it's not even enough to create segments at a cohort or a state level. We have people who are actually going down to a pin code level and tracking behaviors which are there, right? So how do I really leverage automation and AI uh, to do this micro segmentation which is there, and really create those engagement journeys, plus also get real time guidance on what is working, what is not working, so that I can pivot at the right time, right? So these are essentially some of the data imperatives which we are seeing today, right? And apart from that, today's consumers, they're actually full, right? They will have preferences, they will have expectations, they will have unique needs, right? In fact, if you look at Gen Z today, the attention span is actually shorter than a goldfish, right? That's what I see with my daughter today as well. I think probably because they have so much access to resources, the attention span is as minimal as possible. In fact, when we look at ads, if it's not relevant, the attention span is about only 1.5 seconds. They're not going to focus on it if it's not relevant to them, right? So personalization, will become even more important to driving lifetime value, purchase frequency and retention. Um, and retail organizations would essentially need to make sure that they're delivering the right product at the right price at the right moment to the right customer. In fact, let me go even deep, on the right channel and the right device, right? That's what true personalization would mean today, right? And in order to deliver that level of personalization uh, to a Gen Z customer today, that would only be possible if you have powerful tech with data and AI at its core, right? So I think these are some of the aspects which we're going to also talk about when we get to our future sections, right? Uh, and other than that, right, once we have their attention, we also then need to think about how are we delivering those seamless experiences and creating loyalty, right? And loyalty is not just an outcome of just creating loyalty programs, right? Customers will only remain loyal to brands who are able to deliver great customer service, right? Because three bad experiences and the customer is out. They would really cut ties, with the brand which is there. So for your customers, you need to create consistent omni-channel service. Now, whether it's phone, WhatsApp, website, chatbot, I should be able to reach out to at 1 a.m. in the night and get my query resolved. That's a bare minimum for any customer today, right? And even when we look at stores, right? So today, going to a store almost feels like a very high calorie activity, right? You need to make time, you need to get through traffic. And then once that's where about 70% of the customers, they would actually do their research online before going into the store, because they really want to be sure when they're visiting the store, right? In fact, we have customers like David Jones who are actually now even offering virtual consultation, right? People don't want to go to a store. Okay, I'm seeing the product, can I experience it in some virtual form? How about connecting to a store rep right there in the on video call, who can actually guide me through, okay, what the product is, how will it meet my needs, so on and so forth. And even when they are visiting the store, uh, they expect that, the rep who is meeting me, they should know everything about me, right? Because I've already done the research. So how can I really enable that in-store clienting link today and make that rep more informed about who this customer is? And lastly, when we talk about loyalty, right? So, in fact, today when we did a research about Indian shoppers, each shop, on an average, an Indian shopper is part of about seven loyalty programs, right? So clearly they work, right? So if they're part of a loyalty program, it makes them more than 70% likely to buy, and really align themselves towards a particular brand which is there, right? Uh, and today, loyalty is not just about earning and redeeming points. It also needs to be about experiences, right? It also needs to be about exclusiveness, right? Uh, Probably on 100 rupee purchase, you're not going to give me, hardly any loyalty points. What's that going to help me, right? But will I get early or exclusive access to some of your products? Will I get early access to, samples of your products which are there? Am I going to get access to certain experiences which are only available, which are part of, any experience program, right? So, and we have a lot of our customers where loyalty programs are now more experience driven than transaction driven, right? That's something which would essentially need to be looked at. Okay. Uh, Now, the second key imperative which we wanted to focus on is how do we simplify and scale adaptive and unified commerce, right? So, uh, as I mentioned, customers today are really defining new terms of engagement, right? They would actually like to meet retailers where they regularly engage, right? So this is social media, messaging apps, live streaming devices. In fact, they're seeking more immersive channels, which offers, virtual or augmented reality, social commerce. In fact, this is what we say as shopping at the edge, right? Where the shoppers are actually starting and completing their entire buying journey, which is outside a retailer's digital and physical space. It's not at your store, it's not at your website, right? The entire buying journey is actually getting completed outside, any of these channels which are there, right? So this is where, the focus for retailers now need to be on creating what we call as unified commerce. Okay, it's no longer omni-channel commerce. Yes, so omni-channel commerce till now was okay. The customer should be able to buy my products through any of these channels, but that's essentially not enough, right? The biggest difference between omni-channel and unified commerce is where I should be focused on unifying all my customer-facing systems along with my backend system, right? In fact, when I on any of these channels which we just showed you, I should have a real view of inventory which is there. Is the product actually available or not, right? So unified commerce essentially now focuses on bringing backend and front end systems really deeply integrated together, because that unification can only help in driving better fulfillments which are there, right? And in fact, that's where we see retailers are now more focused on, okay, how do I unify my digital and physical point of sale? Okay, as a customer, I should be able to see your inventory across any channel, right? I should be able to see, okay, this is a stock on website. Okay, if it's not available, is it available at the nearest store? Is it probably available at a near you know quick commerce outlet, or any multi-branded store which is there, right? uh, so essentially, and also as a customer, I should be able to order, cancel, return, replace, refund through any channel which is there. Don't limit to me that, okay, you can only return this and get a refund if you bought it from my website. It's not allowed if you got it from a store, or I can't return a product bought on the website at a store. A customer truly requires that true, consistent omni-channel experience, and that can only be delivered if you have your backend platforms which are deeply integrated to support these experiences which is there, right? And what that truly allows you to do, right? So as a customer, if I walk into a store, probably I like the product, but the size is not available, the color is not available, right? So can I enable endless aisle at the store? I should be able to check, you know just scroll through windows. In fact, this is already happening with a lot of Indian retailers today, right? Or if I'm online, can I have multiple fulfillment options, right? Buy online, you ship it from your distribution center. You buy online, you ship it from the store, right? Or it could be buy online and I pick up in the store, right? So truly, creating that unified commerce experience has really become imperative, and it's not going to be easy, right? Because your traditional platforms haven't really supported that experience. Uh, and lastly, I think very important to talk about, how agentic AI is really redefining that retail innovation, right? Because today, every single retailer whom we talk to, right, they're thinking about, okay, how can I integrate agents into my business, right? How can I really let go of those low value, repetitive tasks, which is really burning out my workforce, right? It's impacting their productivity because customer, expectations are continuing to rise. They don't want to be on hold. They want to connect at 1 or 2 in the night if they want. They want every service to be personalized, right? And they want every person whom they're speaking to be an expert about everything, right? So how do you scale up the workforce which I have? Because you obviously have fixed capacity. So we now need to think about, okay, can agents take off some of that workload, right? It's not about replacing humans, it's about augmenting human capacity with agents, right? Um, and that is where, if you look at it, we're now looking at autonomous service agents, right? Let them become the L1, right? If it's just about, listening to a phone call and, capturing a ticket, that is where my, agents can come in. In fact, they can even start solving for your simpler use cases, okay, where is my order? When is the delivery going to happen? Can you cancel this order? These are simpler tasks with simple workflows which agents can take over. Uh, we're also now looking at, when we think about agentic AI, people having shopping assistants. So today, for example, if you go to the Mintra website, you have a fashion bot. If you go to, let's say the Carrefour website in Europe, there's a personal shopping assistant who can help you buy, your next grocery. In fact, OpenAI just launched something, I think last month, called OpenAI Operator. There is one from Perplexity as well, where you can actually just give that bot a set of instructions that, okay, uh, go to this website, and order these products every week, right? Or there's a new Nike shoe drop happening. As soon as that happens, just go on the website and place the orders, right? So AI agents are actually now getting democratized into consumers' hands, right? So retailers really need to think about how can also, create that experience for their customers within their ecosystem. So these were, and when we think about AI, right? So although a lot of retailers are optimistic about adopting it, there are still a lot of challenges which you would need to solve for, right? Because in order to deliver this, you need high quality data. You need a customer 360 to be available. You need the right use cases to be identified, right? And there are security concerns already, right? That, okay, is my data going to be safe? I'm happy interacting with the bot, but I hope you're not sharing my personal data with these open LLM platforms, right? So these are some of the concerns. So while there are a lot of benefits, we at Salesforce have already taken cognizance of these concerns around privacy, security, data management, and we're building those in our platform as well today. Okay. So a lot of imperatives we spoke about. So where does Salesforce fit into all of this, right? So there, you've given a lot of gyan on, these are the kind of things which you should be doing, but how is really Salesforce fueling retail innovation using data and AI today? Right? So I would just like to play a short video about one of our customers, Saks, who spoke at Dreamforce last year about how they're using Salesforce today.
We believe there's going to be a fundamental shift in the way that you interact with humans at Saks. That's really going to be enabled by Agentforce.
At Saks, we deliver a dream. We sell things that people want to love. The emotional connection you have with finding that one thing you want.
There are lots of new changes happening across the technology ecosystem. You need to have the best technology.
We saw the luxury consumer beginning to move to e-commerce. We said, we got to pivot.
Really important for us to meet the customer where they want to be and service them in the best ways.
Agentforce offers personalized service to customers like Maria. In this case, she has a birthday coming up.
If you have millions of customers and you want to create millions of different experiences, it's not scalable. But Agentforce gives us that ability.
Agentforce will enable us to service customers in ways we couldn't imagine before. It will recognize photos and understand text and make personalized recommendations to customers like Maria.
We really believe there is an immense opportunity for Agentforce to allow for our service agents to become stylists, really focus on clienteling with our customers. We are recommending things for you that are personal to you, that are authentic to you. Agentforce is really allowing our humans to have a deeper, more impactful interaction with our customers.
Gives us the ability to continue to offer a very high-touch luxury experience that people expect from a Saks. And I know it sounds simple, but that full 360-degree view of the consumer, everything they're doing, from how they're browsing, from how they're shopping, from what they return, from what they call the call center about, from how they pay, from everything, really understanding them, we're going to give them that comfort that they're the most important to us, which they are.
When Maria contacts us, it's intelligently routed to a customer representative based on the nature of her question.
Agentforce is going to free up our people to work in a different way with their clients. It's not going to replace, it's going to augment.
Here we have Agentforce making a recommended response based on customer data, previous cases, as well as knowledge articles. All we have to do is hit post.
We believe that Data Cloud is going to be the platform for us to activate that data through servicing, through commerce, through order management.
If you can get people comfortable and if you can work with them on an individual basis, a personalized basis, the sky's the limit on what you can do with them.
I don't believe that the experience that we are delivering would be possible without Salesforce.
It goes back to the belief that humans with agents drive customer success together. Together, that's how we're going to win.
All right. So that was just a quick snapshot of, Saks, who's one of our, marquee customers, how they use Salesforce today, and they've been one of the first adopters of Agentforce, retail globally. Uh, so just to give you that view, right? So we at Salesforce, we've actually amplified our pedigree of being the number one CRM with data and autonomous agents, and created an agent first CRM platform specific for the retail industry, right? So our portfolio of products, they're built on our trusted platform, really helping you connect with your customers in a whole new way across the digital and the physical channel, right? So now everyone who is within your organization, right now, who is involved with every step in the customer engagement lifecycle, they're all on this one platform, right? So whether it's about using data to build real-time segments, to activating them across your marketing engagement journeys or on your social media channels, to engaging with them at the store or on your commerce website, plus the entire cycle of getting them to transact at the store and at the website. In fact, this about 3 months back, we also launched our very own modern POS platform, which you can actually deploy at your stores, which is deeply integrated with our core order management and commerce engine, which is there. Then an entire service platform which can really take care of any post purchase queries which the customer has, uh, and our very own loyalty platform as well, right? So every step in the consumer journey, which any department now, whether it is IT, data, marketing, commerce, store, supply chain, customer service, it's an end-to-end platform which can essentially truly create that shopper 360, and help us manage the entire transaction, entire customer journey on the platform itself, right? And if we look at our agent first retail platform, right, there are three primary layers, right? So it essentially starts with data, our data cloud platform, which can, like we mentioned earlier, connect to any data source today, whether it is structured, unstructured, streaming data from your website or from your mobile. We create that repository, in one single place. On top of this data cloud, all of our retail offerings, from sales, service, marketing, store, commerce, everything is built on top of this customer 360 platform. And then we augment all of these clouds with our agent force capabilities, which is there, right? And these agents, if you see, they work across a variety of use cases now, right? Now, whether that's managing inventory, personal shopping, booking appointments, clienteling, customer service, these are autonomous agents out of the box now available for every department which are there, right? Uh, and then we just would like to double dip on a couple of items before we move to the next section. And when we look at data cloud, right? So data cloud today as a platform, as I mentioned, connect to any data source. Plus, it also has the ability to connect to any of your existing investments, right? So let's say if you've already invested in in an enterprise data lake, right, like a Snowflake or a Databricks, we now have partnerships with all of these platforms with something called as bring your own lake, right? So you can actually connect to these platforms and bring in this data without actually having to copy that data, right? So we can leverage your existing investments as well. uh, Data cloud is where you bring the data together, you create a unified data model, and you really build that customer 360, right? So if it's the same customer who has transacted across 5 different channels, we will be able to uniquely identify them and create that customer 360. And from the same platform is where you can activate them across service, marketing, social media. The activation is built right there and then within the platforms. Okay? And when we look at Agent Force, right? So our Agent Force platform, the underlying hood is what we call as our Atlas reasoning engine, right? So our customers use Data Cloud to bring that data together, and then this data with your actions, your policies, everything which you have already built on Salesforce, that becomes the foundation, right? So the reasoning engine is able to retrieve, index all of your data in real time, and then it looks at all of your existing functionality to refine and create a plan, right? That okay, uh, if a particular type of event has happened or a query has come in, what are the right set of actions, policies, guardrails I need to consider in order to automate a particular outcome which is there. And the best part is every outcome, this reasoning engine keeps learning from, right? So you keep feeding back this information into data cloud, and agent force through this agentic loop becomes smarter with every new deployment which is there, right? And like we said, agent force can not just take action within Salesforce. You can actually take these actions across other systems as well, right? Now, whether it's processing a refund where you need to go and talk to SAP, right? Or talking to an inventory system for any restocking, right? Or talking to my Q&A system for reporting any defects which are there. These are actions which you can take within Salesforce and outside Salesforce, and agent force essentially works autonomously. So we do have a lot of these ready to use skills which are available today, like I mentioned, across a variety of departments across sales, marketing, and service. And this is something which we are enabling today for a number of our customers, like Saks, and many more. Okay. Uh, so that was it. As part of our presentation today, as part of our next section, I would like to thank and invite Mr. Rakesh Kumar. So Rakesh is the group head CRM IT for the Landmark Group. So Landmark Group, as you all know, houses a number of great Indian brands like Lifestyle and Max, and many more. He has about 20 years of experience in the IT industry, and is leading the customer experience and CRM and analytics initiatives, at the Landmark Group, right? So I would like to invite Rakesh for a quick fireside chat. Hey Rakesh, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Siddharth. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. So Rakesh, first of all, thank you for making time for us today, and thank you for being, a great customer of Salesforce. We're truly privileged to partner with you, in your growth journey, in India. Uh, so, as you know, the topic for today is essentially, customer centricity and how that's fueling retail innovation in India. We wanted to kind of, understand from you that how are you seeing customer expectations evolve today in retail space, and how you at Landmark Group are adopting to this, to these changing modern customer expectations.
Thanks, Siddharth. First of all, thank you for inviting me. It's really pleasure and honor being part of this virtual session. And obviously, it's an evolving world. And just to answer this question that you asked, today, all of our experiences uh, are connected with the convenience, personalization, and the omni experience. And for us as well, obviously we are offline retailers, so from that perspective, convenience becomes the topmost important agenda. And obviously, using the tools to uh, do the personalization. And today, as we speak, the customers who visit our stores, and we have a large loyalty program. And since customers are part of the loyalty program, because of that, we know when they are coming to the store, what they are buying. We also know about their history. And since we know about our customers, then we are able to make their customer experience inside the store or online very seamless or very effective for them. And then since the past history is there, their preferences are there, we are able to personalize and also make their experience very convenient, whether they are going to our stores or whether they are visiting online channel. And in all of this, today we also use the AI/ML models to churn out the data that we have, and based on that, the cohorts or the segments that we create will help us serve the different customers' demand very efficiently. And also, since we have a largely presence in offline retail, but then as a convenience, the online channels are also there. We are also there at the marketplace, so customers can go anywhere and then they can shop. So all of these facilities are there. And when we so yeah, so from that perspective, we are very well connected with customers, and we understand them, and we try to make their customer experience really very seamless and effective when they are there in store or online.
Thanks, Rakesh. And in terms of, you obviously mentioned, loyalty programs is one of the aspects, but I think Apart from that, what have been the strategies which have been the most effective in really creating that personalized shopping experiences, right? So, what kind of strategies do you deploy to really make the customer feel that okay, Landmark or Lifestyle essentially knows me. This is a personalized experience which I'm getting.
So this is a evolving space, and we have to keep reinventing ourselves. Our loyalty program is really very old. The loyalty program exists 20 plus years now, and as we evolve and keep actually adopting the new tools and technologies, and also cater to the new gen audiences, we also have to evolve the program per se. So as we speak, just to actually make it more tailor-made or custom offering for customers, we have also introduced what we call it a subscription program, or the VIP programs. For each of our brands, we have introduced very customized, offered, tailor-made programs within our Landmark Rewards program itself. For Lifestyle, we call it Lifestyle Edge. For Max, we call it Lifestyle Max Elite. For Home Center, we call it Home Center Delight. And in all of these brands, these customer subscription build programs are catering to the very specific need of the customers. It's a paid program. Customer used to actually purchase this program, and because it's a opt-in program on top of Landmark Reward program, which is mobile based, and it is cardless and it is free. This program is on in an amount, and because of that, the personalization is very different for these customers. And obviously, because they have very engaged customers with us, we are able to give them very personalized offers. We are able to retain them better. We are able to cater them better, and we also see their journey with us actually is longer and much more enriching from our side and from their side as well. So
Yeah.
that is how we customize the loyalty program today. Also, with the use of tools and technologies that are there in the market, such as Salesforce and related tools, um, we create a single view of customers, or customer 360-degree view. So since customers are shopping online or offline, we still know about them. And at a center place, we put all the data together. We know their shopping behavior when they come to stores. We know their shopping behavior when they shop in online. And based on that, we are able to offer them tailor-made marketing promotions. And also when they come to the store, our tools, which are there with our store staff, are able to then recognize the customer, look into their past preferences, and based on that, they are able to help them, assist them inside the store better. Also, when they do shopping online, that time also, with help of the AI tools, we are able to personalized based on the history, based on the clicks that they are doing on the website, based on the product that they are navigating, based on the preferences that they have, based on the shopping that they have done in the past. And based on that, on a real-time basis, we are able to recommend them the similar product, or the product that can actually best fit for them, what is actually trending in the market at this point of time based on their taste. And all of this are there offline and online at both the places.
Yeah. Thanks, Rakesh. Interestingly, I'd like to. My wife and both my wife and my mom are actually part of your subscription program. I think that's been a really smart move, because probably even not just for themselves, when they have to buy gifts for birthdays or anniversaries or so on, uh, your subscription program actually keeps
Yes,
them getting back, right? Because you would probably not need to make a high value purchase every time, but it just keeps them bringing back to lifestyle every time, right? So it's
right.
just become that. I think that's a great hook to get the customer back to your brand every time. So thank
And
you for
it is
yeah.
very fulfilling from our side and from customer side also. I'll give another example. So let's say Home Center Delight. Now, the moment customer become part of the program, the instant benefits are there in the store itself. But along with that, we also offer them free gifts on
Hmm.
certain thresholds. And this is like once they complete 2 years, they can claim the 2 months, they can claim the first gift. After months, they can
Yeah.
claim the second gift. After third month, they can claim the third gift. And likewise, every second month, we are offering one gift or the other. And also the choices are there to choose from the gift. And this is all actually then become very fascinating for them. And we have seen a very, very positive response. And as you say, your
Yeah.
wife is very keen, and then she's part of the program. Happy to know that, and
Yeah.
hope she has a nice experience there.
No, agree. I think it keeps it gamified as well. They're always looking forward to the next gift which they're gonna get. So
Yes, yes.
yeah.
We try to keep
Um,
it very
yeah.
innovative and very relevant for our these specific customers.
Yeah. And essentially, as you mentioned, right, that your strength is obviously offline retail more, right? And obviously, we've obviously seen your store expansion, but uh, as we see that a lot of the customer research and buying journey is also moving, online, which is there, right? So I'm sure that would have created some amount of disruption, but how are you really, balancing, managing the digital channel plus also maintaining that human touch in retail, right? So how do you draw that fine balance between both of these channels
So
today?
it's a very good question and very relevant in today's time. So whether it is offline and online, it is just a channel. And also, we have to be there where customers are. So if they are there in the mall, we have to be there. That is where our offline stores are. If they are there on the marketplace, we have to be there so that we can actually still serve them better. And along with that, we also have our own e-commerce site where customers can come and then they can do shopping. um, Especially in today's world when technology is really disrupting the things. Human touch is really very, very important, and that is especially in our case because we are still a brick and mortar retailer, and when they come to the store, along with the digital information application or the help that we have, apart from that, we have sales representatives. And though we give a lot of control in customer hands, in the sense if they are there in the store, still they can browse the product, they can know more about the product. We have applications like Buddy, which is there in Max and Lifestyle, where customers can go scan the QR code and then they can get more information just directly connecting to the online channel, and then get to know more about the product, like what is the material, what is the knit, what is the fashion, how they can actually complement the look. All of this there is for the self help. But along with that, this information is also there with the store staff, and then it is assisted by store staff. So, some
Yeah.
information customer can get on their own, they can help on their own, but then the store staff then augment it. So, a good example here is we have self checkout in store where customer can come and then they can buy on their own using the kiosk that we have or on their own mobile phones. But at the same time, for the recommendation, our store staffs are still there and they keep complimenting them. So this
Yeah.
way, we are still able to connect with them. Also, because we know our customers, when we do personalization, we take care of customers' sentiments and behavioral aspect as well. So let's say a customer came and then we end of the session, we ask them a feedback questionnaires. And if the feedback is not very positive, if they turned out to be a detractor, then we try to give them a cooling off period. Definitely, we have a system where we try to reach out to them. We try to actually get to know more about why the experience was bad that time, and we wanted to improve on that. But then we suppress the communication for a certain period of time so that they could get good cooling off period, and after that we connect with them back again. So all of these
Yeah.
experiences are all knitted well in our systems.
Thanks for sharing that, Rakesh. And probably the last question, and then we'll open up for Q&A. So obviously, you have partnered up with Salesforce recently. It's a partnership which we obviously formed over the last few months. So how are you looking at Salesforce and to becoming uh, or supporting in your journey to become more customer centric, more personalized? And what would be your expectations from Salesforce for the future as well? If you just give us a
Yes.
view of that. Yeah.
We use Salesforce as a marketing automation tool, and as any marketing automation tool should support. Here, the good part is we have all our customers' data on a single platform where we get to know 360 degree of the customers. All channels are also integrated on Salesforce, be it SMS, WhatsApp, RCS, emails, and we are also working to integrate push. So all of these channels are there, and hence we then have options at one platform to use. Along with that, Salesforce also helps us to automate customer journeys so that the regular engagement with the customers or the hand holding with the customers for 3 months, 6 months, and 9 months is all automated. So that is where Salesforce helps us a lot. Apart from that, we do a lot of personalization to create segments from mass to segments to and then to personalize and then terminating the messages. We have also integrated Salesforce with our internal systems, be it feedback systems or be it opening management system, CRM system. So with that, we get to know all information at one place. And since all channels are there on Salesforce, we are able to even optimize the customer reach on their preferred channels. So customer preference are also we actually manage there, and then if somebody is very fond of WhatsApp, we communicate them with WhatsApp. If they are very active on email, then we send them email. So those personalizations are all there. Also, we have started venturing a bit using the AI capabilities, which is Einstein, which is there in Salesforce. So we take help for creating a lot of contents. And over the period of time, we have seen Einstein has started understanding us also a bit. And then the content that is actually gives back makes life easy for our marketing automation team or the people who are actually setting up the campaigns to suggest the text, the messages, and also to recommend the various flavors. And based on that, we actually do. Apart from all of this, we also leverage Salesforce capability of a Tableau reporting tool, which is actually then integrated. So on a real-time basis, or sometime near-time, real-time basis, we are able to know the performance of a campaign. We are able to know the performance of any channel. So all of this put together has been helpful, and definitely we are looking forward to integrate more with Salesforce, and then we wanted to activate push as well on one channel. So when we have SMS, RCS, WhatsApp, and email already activated, push also there so that all channels are there on the one platform, and also looking forward to leverage the new features like Salesforce Agent, Salesforce Service. We are also looking a bit towards Salesforce lead management. So a
Yeah.
lot of hopes are there, and let's see how this journey is actually evolves from here.
Thank you so much, Rakesh, and thank you for sharing these insightful thoughts with us. I think this has been a great conversation. Uh, and what we now want to do is just move on to some Q&A. I think if there are any questions and answers, which are there. Sumit, do we have any questions? Okay. Okay, so there's one question from Smriti. Is there a procedure for designing a loyalty solution with Salesforce platform? So yes, Smriti, at Salesforce, we have our own loyalty management platform, which you can essentially use to create different kind of loyalty programs. So, and by the way, it supports both B2C and B2B, where you can create the program, you can create different layers, you can even integrate them with reward portals, right? So if the rewards need to be your products, or if the reward needs to be, let's say, an Amazon voucher, or something like that, it's an end-to-end loyalty management platform which we do support today, right? So please do check those out on our website. The details are there. Okay. The next question which we have from Archana: how we can use technology for textile manufacturing entry level startup to generate more productivity. Okay. Um, that's an interesting one. So textile manufacturing startup. So I'm assuming, Archana, you're part of a company which is uh, into, let's say, some garment manufacturing setup which is there. Uh, yeah. So see, essentially, today, if you look at it, a lot of topics we actually covered from a retailer perspective. But when we think about the overall retail industry, we also have. Sumit, sorry, can we have the question back up? Let me just have answer context. Okay. Uh, when we look at manufacturing companies where you are essentially a supplier or a provider to to Indian and global retailers which are there, right? So that's where essentially Salesforce has its own very own B2B CRM platform, which is there, which you can essentially use, for your business development activities, right? So for finding new prospects, managing your sales teams, tracking, leads, opportunities which they're getting from the market. And not only that, once you have onboarded those customers, you can actually build entire B2B customer 360. So, for example, just taking an example, if let's say you are one of the suppliers to the Landmark Group, essentially tracking, okay, how much sales have I done? Is my business growing, not growing? And then, even leverage our analytics platform like Tableau to get really deeper insights, right? Which accounts are performing, which are not performing, what more can I do? What is the white space out there? And not just limited to your sales and business development. You can actually integrate Tableau with your supply chain as well, right? So you can get Tableau talking to your ERP to track, okay, what kind of inventory holdings which I have. Am I overstocking, understocking? How am I on the raw material position? So on and so forth. So the analytics capability you can actually apply to any part of your business, which is there. Okay, that's an interesting one. So, what ethical considerations should retailers keep in mind while using AI to personalize customer experiences? So, Rakesh, I would also want your, input. I would actually request if you could, take up that question. So, we'll answer it from a technology partner perspective. But I think because this is you are day in, day out, and I think this is a topic which would be top of mind. Would you like to take that question?
Yeah, sure. So it is a very important element, and uh, ours floors are all about experiences and then all about personal engagements. So obviously, when we use technology along with that, still the human touch is always there. And so what we call it nowadays is like ethical actually practices. And obviously, when anybody comes to our store, so the first thing is literally we take them their approval if they really want to be part of our program. So that is where the journey starts. And on top of it, since it is a digital era, so we give an OTP to them so that they are giving it back, and then hence they are giving the consent. And if they are given the consent, then after that only we engage with them. So that is where the offline engagement or the outbound engagement starts. But then when they are there in the store, along with the tools and techniques that we give, I given the example like we given self checkout, which customer can use at a kiosk on their own, or they can use via their mobile phone as well. But then store staffs are there to just to augment. So let's say they are doing the payment on their own and they have already made some decision on some products, but store staff can augment to help them to complete the look or to
Yeah,
recommend what will go along with it. So those aspects are still there. Also,
yeah,
as I said, so since we collect feedback, so we know about their behavioral aspect as well. So if they're not happy with them, we then just not then communicate to them for a while. And obviously, in the background, we try to reach out to them to figure it out what went wrong and then to correct that. So those elements are there.
yeah,
Within stores, if you see, when all of these controls are given to the customers, we don't intrude in their shopping. It is like self-help on their own, and then the tools and techniques are there, and then we touch base with them only when they need help. So these actually nuances we try to maintain so that technology we are not actually leaving them on their own with the technology, and we are not intruding their own private space, and just creating a balance between.
got it. Cool. Thank you. And just to add on, just another aspect to that question. Sorry, Sundar, I'll just take that up. The question from Selva. I think when you talk about ethics as well, so I think it's not just related to AI. It's very important to look at how you are managing the customer data today. Are you keeping it safe? As you know, with DPDP, slowly kicking in, we'll also need to make sure that we're maintaining the customer data. We're only maintaining the relevant customer data, keeping it safe and keeping it for only the right amount of time for which we need it, right? Secondly, if the customer calls today and says, okay, please delete all my data, please don't reach out to me, right? The ability to kind of manage these preferences across channels, across systems, that becomes important. And essentially, when we think about AI as well, right? So at Salesforce, we have actually created something which we call as the trust layer within Einstein, right? So wherever we are using these LLM models to generate certain generative or predictive insights, we are actually ensuring that no PII data makes its way to these LLM platforms. We only pass data which is relevant, get the relevant outcome from the LLM model, plug that with a PII and surface it back to you, right? So I think in general, overall data management about a consumer. Secondly, ensuring that the PI data is not available or is not passed through to these open AI, open LLM models which are there. And I think there is also a third aspect of avoiding bias, right? Because I think what you consistently need to monitor, and I think that's where the feedback loop becomes important. Okay, what is the quality of responses which AI is giving me? If there is some amount of bias or toxicity creeping in, ensuring that we improve that over a period of time. Okay,
Siddharth, just
yeah,
to augment this, definitely because of DPDP, and we are completely compliant with that. And that is where, if you are collecting data digitally, then the opt-in is also taken digitally, which is the OTP-based consent. But apart from that, the unsubscribe option is always there with customers. And if they opt out from the program, then we then delete all the data. We don't communicate to them. So those nuances are
yeah,
anyway taken care of. But on top of it, just to actually give a little bit personalized search with the customers, we also maintain the preference hub. Customer
yeah.
can choose just to opt out only from WhatsApp, only from SMS, or only from email. Also, they can, because it's a group program, they can also choose to receive messages from one brand and not to other. So all of these preferences are also given, the control is given in customer's hand. So,
Got it.
and then we do with the tools, so we are fully compliant on it.
Got it. So Sumit, I know we are almost over time as well. Probably I can take a couple of more questions. We can and then 11:35, and then we'll be happy to then respond to all of these questions post the session as well. Uh, I think one question around platform work for traceability being in textile industry. So yes, it's a quick answer to that, Prashant. Uh, if you're looking, so when I'm assuming when you talk about traceability, it's basically tracking the movement of products and materials throughout the entire supply chain, right from your factory to the end consumer. So yes, the platform does have capability to do that, and essentially Tableau, which is our analytics platform, plays a very important role in managing that, right? So I think there's one anonymous question: has Salesforce just repackaged Agentforce? No, so it's not a repackaging. So I would have hoped to address that person, in person, which is there. So our Einstein capabilities were largely, basic predictive capabilities which were launched as part of our platform, which is there. Agentforce has what we spoke about, the Atlas reasoning engine, right? It's a reasoning engine which is understanding your company's metadata. It is understanding all the actions and functionalities which have been defined. And it's then estimating or it's then predicting that if this is the kind of query or event which has happened, which is the right set of actions should I be taking, right? So you don't have to define that, okay, if a customer calls and says, I want to return a product, the Atlas region reasoning engine will automatically know that I first have to check the return policy. This is the return process which exists, which you can then execute that and possibly have some integrations with logistics to do eventually that pickup as well, right? So trust us, it's not repackaged. It's a whole new different thing altogether, and we can share more details in that. Um, Okay, so how do we ensure a smooth transition from AI to human agents for complex queries? So it's a very good question, Rajiv. Essentially, the place we will mostly see this, in fact, even if you go to the SACS website or somewhere else, uh, I think anywhere so let's say if it's a chatbot or a generative AI powered chatbot which is there on the website, if the query is too complex, it's outside the boundaries of what a bot can essentially address basis the information which it has. Within Salesforce we have something called as an agent transfer which is available. So once the autonomous agent, it identifies that this is possibly a question which I cannot address, it's automatically recommend to the customer that I'm going to now transfer to an agent, and that transition is very seamless, right? So the customer does not have to switch any windows. Through that same window, it can transfer itself to a customer service agent at your call center or your support desk, and the journey is essentially seamless over there. Um, is an error due to AI creeping in excusable, or can it be subject to legal recourse by customers? So I think very good question. In fact, I every time I hear this, I remember that story. I don't know, it was some automobile company where AI essentially sold the car at $1 because the customer said that is my budget. Uh, I I would say I think this is where when we think about AI adoption, the use cases, we need to be very clear in terms of what kind of use cases are we essentially employing, and how well are we writing those prompts in terms of the answers which AI is essentially giving to the customer, right? Because I think it can get a bit tricky, especially when you are talking about AI essentially enabling end-to-end transactions on the platform, right? Because essentially it's a commercial contract, right? And sometimes there are a lot of regulated industries where even giving a wrong information to the customer can result in some kind of a legal recourse. So I would say it's a very fine line in terms of what can be considered excusable and what not. I think the one of the ways which the customers are doing it, they're just putting a disclaimer out there that this is just a representative, which is that it's not a commitment which we are making. We're just addressing your queries which are there. But let me, I think once we respond back to you after this, let me come back to you with a proper answer to this. Okay. Sumit, I think we are all, 8 minutes over. What we will do is, I think all of these are great questions, and we would definitely like to address all of these in detail. Um, um, we'll make sure that we respond to each of these questions. And I think there's a feedback form also, which we would be sharing after this session. Please do share a feedback with us on what more topics would you like to, hear about from Salesforce, or, even from Landmark Group in the future. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Rakesh sir, for joining us for this session today, and also for the Q&A. Thanks everyone for making time.